presentation of ABC Sports.
At the 1991 World Gymnastics Championships, 15-year-old Kim Zmeskal did what no American had ever done before when she won the all-around gold medal. It was perhaps the greatest moment in U.S. gymnastics history. Today, she and athletes from nearly 50 nations have come to Paris, France on this Easter weekend to try and make history once again. Today we're inside the Pele Omnisport on the banks of the Seine, site of the 1992 World Gymnastics Championships. Hello everybody and happy Easter. I'm John Neighbor, and today we're in a position to enjoy a World Championships unlike any others. It's full of firsts. It's the first time the event's taken place in the month of April. This spring will begin an annual tradition. We'll see World Championships once a year. It's also a first in that we'll be watching only individual event finals. No team, no all-around competition. That takes place next year. And Kathy Johnson, it's also a first in that the United States has the reigning queen in the all-around competition.
John, this is a wonderful opportunity for Kim Zmeskal to cement her position in world standings, and more important, to respond to some of the critics who say maybe she just won the World Championships last fall because they were in the United States. Keep in mind, this is only individual event finals, so she's not defending her all-around title here. But since she goes into the floor exercise finals having placed first in the preliminaries, she's in a position to do something she's never done before, and that's win a world individual title. In order to do so, she has to outscore Oksana Chusovitina, who's the reigning world champion in that event. Vaulting will also be very exciting. Carrie Strug of the United States has qualified, but she's up against world and Olympic champions, including Svetlana Boginskaya.
And Bart Conner, what effect will this unique program have on the athletes themselves?
Well, under the traditional format, the only way you could represent your country in world or Olympic competition is to be an all-around competitor and perform in every event. This format allows for specialists, and it's worked very nicely for the American men. Mark Sohn and Paul O'Neill are here, and they give the Americans their best chance at a medal since way back in 1979. Theoretically, what we're seeing is just the best athletes compete in their best events. And the level of gymnastics is going to be very high.
You talk about the level of gymnastics at world or Olympic competition, you have to talk about the dynamite dynasty of the last 4 decades, the Soviet Union. They've won 180 gold medals at Olympic or World Championship level competition. Now they're the Commonwealth of Independent States. And Bart, what effect will their politics have on their gymnastics?
Well, I really believe we'll see a downgrading of the level of performers from the Commonwealth of Independent States. They just don't have the money to support the junior developmental programs. The athletes that are here, however, are terrific. They came up under the old system, and I expect they'll probably dominate.
Now, our coverage of these World Championships will be taking place over the next 2 weekends. Today we'll be watching the women compete in the vault and the floor exercise. The men on the floor, the pommel horse, and the still rings. On Wide World of Sports on Saturday, you'll see the women competing on the uneven parallel bars and the beam. The men will be vaulting, performing on the P-bars and the high bar. We'll begin by watching the ladies in the vaulting competition alternating with the men on floor exercise. You're watching Lavinia Milicevic from Romania. She's the defending world champion. She's about ready to take her first of 2 vaults. The scores will be averaged to determine her overall score.
And most important, she has 2 very strong vaults. The first one is a Yurchenko laid out with a full twist. Very nice nicely done. She had the little hop on the landing. Here you see the round-off approach onto the board. Good push, nice position in the air. Just that little hop.
She seems so serious as she deep in thought for her second vault, I'm sure.
Her teammate, Gina Gojen of Romania, took the pressure off. She went first in the vault event and unfortunately had a disastrous second vault. And she had been in third place, tied for third in the preliminaries.
Milosevic setting up for her second vault. Scores on her first one of 9.95, 9.0s.
Her second vault is a handspring front tuck with a half twist. It's a traditional entry vault, so she will face the horse as she takes off the board and go forward through the air with a front somersault, spot the mat, and perform a half twist right there. Very nicely done. A couple of the other competitors actually do that vault a little bit more difficultly. They do a laid out somersault. She tucks this position, but nonetheless, it's still worth a 10.0 in the code of points if done perfectly. Nice position when she twists, very crisp and clean.
Judges scores 9.90 for an average of 9.906. Back on the floor, Vitaly Sherbo from the former Soviet Union, now the Commonwealth of Independent States. Man from Minsk at 20 years of age is competing next.
Sherbo is such a clown. He got married recently, and his wife is an acrobat, and he made her quit acrobatics because he said it was too dangerous. I don't know what you say about what this guy's doing. His first tumbling run is going to be a laid-out double flip with 2 twists. He's the only gymnast in the world I've seen perform this successfully. He did it at the World Championships last fall. There it is. Oh. He took a step there, and it looked as if he was very close to going out of bounds. You lose a 1/10 of a point for a step, and another 1/10 if you do go out of bounds. This is a good-looking pass. Double twist to a punch front. Besides being such a terrific tumbler, look at the line in the handstand, the effortless movement.
He was runner-up in the all-around competition at the 1991 World Championships, so he's got a diversity of skills.
And he was silver medalist on this event. His last tumbling run will be a laid-out. Oh, it's going to be a whip back through to a laid-out double back. That's new. Oh.
So he changed his routine?
What we're seeing here in the event finals is that the gymnasts are going for bigger stuff because they know everybody is really throwing the big tricks. The mount, full in, full out in the laid out position. And he was very close to going out of bounds. On the dismount, he added a whip backflip right here. Right there's a whip backflip, and then he continued to a layout double back at the end. No one's ever tried that in competition.
Sherbo placed second at this event in the World Championships last year. He's hoping to move up. The judges' scores 9.687. That puts him into first place. We'll be back with more from the World Championships after this.
Championships. Brought to you by Reebok, who reminds you that life is short. Play hard. By Texaco, official sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. By United. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies. And by the Diamond Anniversary Band. This year, tell her you'd marry her all over again.
Back at the World Championships, next up in the vault, Svetlana Boginskaya, the all-around world champion in '89. She lost her title last year to Kim Zmeskal.
She is the reigning Olympic champion on this event. Opens with a Yurchenko, laid out with a full twist. I'll tell you what is amazing about this gymnast. I watched her warm up. She was so relaxed. The warm up actually didn't look very good. Wasn't very strong, and she comes up with an amazing vault like this. perfect form. This is her trademark. Toes pointed, legs straight. And there's that landing, 1 foot slightly in front of the other, another trademark of hers.
So Bogunskaya rapidly makes her way down the runway to approach her second attempt. She's won 2 World Championship gold medals in event finals, but neither of them in the vault. Won floor X in '89 and the beam in 1991.
You can see the numbers right there. That's where the gymnast flashes the number of their vault so the judges know what they're performing. And as I said earlier, the gymnasts have to do 2 different vaults. They average the score of both vaults. And it's really important that they have a strong second vault. Bogunskaya does. It's a front somersault with a half twist and in laid out position.
.962 the scores on her first of 2 vaults.
She's truly a remarkable competitor. She has a great ability to focus and concentrate. Nicely done.
And there was a smile. My goodness, we saw a smile out of the most focused woman on the floor today.
They call this vault a piked cuervo because of where the twist occurs. It occurs right here, then she almost goes backwards into the somersault. She is pleased with that.
And the official marks on that vault, 9.925, which lowers her average to 9.943. Still good enough to take the lead. Now let's go over to the floor exercise where China's Li Xiaosheng is about to take the mat.
There's no question this is the rising star of the Chinese team. He's going to do a triple backflip. There are only a few gymnasts in the world who have performed it successfully in competition. Earlier, his teammate Li Chongyang didn't make it. Let's see if he can make it. It's coming up right here. Oh, over-rotated. Now they'll make a deduction, a slight deduction, because of the over-rotation, perhaps a couple of tenths of a point. It's amazing when you're doing 3 flips to actually overdo it. Look at this sequence. Handstand, flare, handstand. This young man shows what it's like to be a complete specialist on floor exercise. He's a powerful tumbler. He has great flexibility. He shows strength, which is a requirement there in the handstand. One of the great things about this specialist format is we don't see him try the triple back somersault often, because typically in a team or all-around competition you wouldn't risk going for the big move. What's great about this format is you're going to see all these guys going for the big stuff. Here we go. Oh, just short.
Certainly one of the rising stars on the Chinese men team, Li Xiaosheng. 18 years of age. Last year is the youngest man on the Chinese team at the World Games.
When I first saw the gymnast doing this triple back, I was never so glad I'm retired from gymnastics in my life. Look at how high and over-rotated that is. That's about 3 1/4 flips. His dismount is the laid-out double backflip. He's just a little short, but the body position in the air, he's shorter rotation on the landing. Very high.
Xiaosheng's score, 9.425. That puts him into 4th place, out of the medals. Next up on the vault, Hungary's Henrietta Onodi. She's a beautiful young woman with great potential, and as you'll see, something to prove. Kathy Johnson makes the introduction.
To find the most prominent gymnast in Hungary, one must travel 2 hours to the east of Budapest. It is known as the storm corner of Hungary for its tradition of opposition. But now the people of Bekesaba are raising their voice to hail a diminutive hero, Henrietta Onodi. Now 17, Onodi lives at home with her parents while pursuing her gymnastics, which is unlike many of her international rivals. In many respects, her life is very normal, but her success in gymnastics has been anything but normal in a country that hasn't had a female gymnast of her caliber in her lifetime. She has a collection of trophies from around the world, but she has few fond memories from the World Championships last September in Indianapolis. She was expected to challenge for a medal in the all-around, but such dreams came to an early end when she fell in her first 2 events. She continued to struggle in the event finals and returned home with just one medal, a silver in the vault. Not nearly enough to wash away the tears.
Henrietta Onodi from Hungary.
She's the silver medalist on this event from the World Championships. Handspring front half in piked position. Excellent vault. At 4'10", 77 pounds, she is very slight, which makes her strength and power quite deceiving. What makes this vault so nice is her perfect timing on the push and her ability to keep form in the air. Always consistent on this event.
She had a couple of good runs in practice, too.
The key to her doing so well in this competition is the fact that she has two very strong vaults, both of them worth a 10.0, and remember, they average the score of both vaults, and they must be two completely different vaults.
Onodi's marks on the first attempt at 9.950 compared to the 9.962 of Bogunskaya.
This will be a Yurchenko vault, the round-off vault. Layout somersault with a full twist. Now watch for her position in the air. See if she can maintain the laid out position and keep form. And she did. On both vaults, the only problem she had was the tiniest little hop on the landing. That is such a slight deduction. As always, good form, good dynamics on the vault.
And Kathy, as you said, her strength is her consistency. The judges' marks the same as her first attempt, 9.950. That moves her into the lead, ahead of Bogunskaya and Milicevic in third. Matchups, most of you will see the Montreal Machine as they try to manufacture a season sweep against the division-leading Thunder. Or the Ohio Glory travels south to meet the San Antonio Riders, live next on ABC Sports. Next up is America's only qualifier in the vault finals. It's 14-year-old Carrie Strug, who made the pilgrimage from Tucson, Arizona to Houston, Texas to train with Bella Caroli. If one name in the sport guarantees excellence or headlines, it would probably be his. ABC's Marianne Grabavoy has the story.
He's become the Pied Piper of American gymnastics, Bella Caroli. Transplanted Transylvanian guru who speaks a different language, marches to a different drummer, and has created some of the greatest stars in the sport of gymnastics. Today, there's Kim Zmeskal, America's first world all-around champion. Before her, Mary Lou vaulted to Olympic gold in '84, and Mary Lou looked to the one and only Nadia, who looked to the one and only Bella, the relentless taskmaster. Caroli coached Nadia and the Romanian team to Olympic glory in 1976, and when they returned home, they were honored by Romanian dictator Nicolae Ceausescu. But Bella would fall into disfavor. He wanted his athletes in the gym. Ceausescu wanted to use them as political puppets. While on U.S. tour with Nadia and the team, Caroli defected. It was January 1981.
40 years of normal life, friends, family was left behind me. And I jumped into a totally unknown, dark, cloudy arena where I had nobody's help, nobody I could lean on.
With $300 in his pocket, unable to speak English, he took any job he could find. Longshoreman, dishwasher, painter. He and his wife got by with no money, but agonized over something greater.
Leaving Andrea, my daughter, in Romania, that was probably the scariest and most desperate part of the whole situation.
7 long months later, his daughter was allowed to leave Romania. With the family together, the Carolis made their way to Texas. How ironic that this one-time hero of the Eastern Bloc would find his dream in America. Ask any Texan and they'll tell you just about everything here in the Lone Star State is bigger than life. Well, what better place for Bella Caroli to put down stakes than here in the heart of Texas? His 50-acre spread is about an hour-and-a-half drive from Houston. And just what was it that made Bella fall in love with Texas? So as a kid in Romania, you actually sat and watched John Wayne movies?
Sure, I did. John Wayne became, my all-time hero. Texas, that's the land of the heroes.
And Bella's become a hero to his hundreds of students. He opened the Caroli Gym in Houston in 1982. You won't find a lot of coddling or sympathy around here.
I think toughness is part of any serious athletic preparation. You cannot be their playmate.
It's no secret that Bella's stature in American gymnastics has caused professional resentment. Critics, even enemies, who say he's not only harsh, but ruthless.
Hit! That's what it's supposed to look like. I'm very grateful for those ones who've been so-called my enemies, my great enemies. No, they were not enemies. They were the challengers. They were the one who put me, I'm going forward. Gosh, look how they are coming behind me. Let me push further and further.
The sheer force of his personality has convinced the international judges to take American gymnasts seriously, and the fire in his soul has helped him create legends.
So we'll see if Bella Caroli can work his magic with Carrie Strug. Her first vault scored a 9.862. Although she competed in 1991 at the World Championship, she failed to make the event finals, so obviously she's improving.
Her second vault is a handspring front tuck, worth a 9.9 in the code of points. It's not a very difficult vault. Unfortunately, that will hurt her. She needs to do a more difficult vault like we saw with Boganskaya and Onodi. Needs to add a twist. Usually done in laid out position to be more difficult. She opens up a little too soon and has to take a step back.
Judges marks 9.775 for an average of 9.818. That puts her in 5th place. Getting ready to begin his floor exercise is Igor Korobczynski from the Commonwealth of Independent States. Top male gymnast in the world in 1989, won the all-around gold medal at the World Championships in Stuttgart.
And he's the current world champion on this event, the floor exercise. What's great about this format is we have seen the top gymnast going for the hardest moves. We'll see what he does here for his first tumbling run. Beautiful. Oh, just a little over-rotated, but that was a double layout with a full twist. It's a move that allows him to get some originality points. It's just a wide press to a handstand, but it's difficult to balance. His third tumbling pass is the most impressive pass. The scores have been very tight here. The high score to this point is only a 9.687. It's good to see the judges are keeping the scores down, so there's room for more gymnasts at the top. Good finish.
So Igor Korobczynski, the two-time defending champion, is trying to make it 3 in a row. And meanwhile, his Commonwealth of Independent States teammate, Oksana Chusovitina from the Republic of Uzbekistan, is getting ready for her first attempt at the vault.
She's one of the most powerful gymnasts in the world. She tied for the silver medal in this event during the World Championships with Henrietta Onodi. Beautiful. Laid out Sukahara with a full twist. Also worth a 10.0. Highly difficult. Watch her hand placement, which enables her to really push off the horse. The legs stay together, laid out. It's the same vault that we all saw Mary Lou do in 1984 and do so well. It's really one of the more difficult vaults. Most people have gone to the round-off vaults, but because of the event final rules, they must do 2 different vaults, and this is an excellent second vault.
Kathy Korobczynski's score, 9.812 in the floor exercise, puts him in first place ahead of teammate Sherbo. And Chusavitina's score on her vault, 9.925, slightly behind Onodi and Bogan-Sky after one attempt.
Her second vault is a handspring front vault with a half twist laid out. Actually, it will be in pike position, just like Henrietta Onodi's. Very nice heel drive. You'll see in the replay that she really comes off the board very strong, drives her heels, which gives her more height and more rotation. You can really see how powerful she is here. Drives those heels over the horse into the somersault, opens up the arms for a perfect landing.
Chusavitina's score on her second attempt, 9.950 for an average of 9.937, and that moves her into third place. So the results are now official at the World Championships in the women's vault. Henrietta Onodi from Hungary wins the gold. Former Soviets. The Commonwealth of Independent States takes the silver and the bronze with Bogan-Sky and Chusovitina. American Carrie Struck finished sixth. The men's floor exercise is Igor Korobchinski with the gold medal. His Commonwealth teammate Vitaly Sherbo with the silver. And Mike Krauberg from Germany takes the bronze. We'll be back. Welcome back to Paris as our coverage continues of the World Championships. Next up, the men's pommel horse and the women's floor exercise featuring America's sweetheart, Kim Zmeskal. But our first performer on the floor is Hungarian Henrietta Onodi. We saw her moments ago winning the gold in the vault competition. She's now approaching the floor, and we expect her to do well.
This is a new floor exercise routine for Henrietta, and it is gorgeous. It's to West Side Story. Still a little new, but it's entertaining. No one has more diverse tumbling passes than Henrietta. Here's her first. No one lands any better than she either.
A lot of flashbulbs popping when she's in the air, too.
And no one does this pass any better. Triple twist. Double twist, punch front. She's already done more difficulty than many gymnasts, and she's got another tumbling run right here. High double back, watch this finish. Absolutely superb. Everyone loves this gymnast. For many years, she was truly underrated, I feel. She can do so many things and do them so well. Watch this triple twist. Very few gymnasts can complete 3 twists as quickly as she does, spot the mat, and drop right in. One of the things that I said she does so well, watch the landing here. She knows exactly where she is in the air, drops it right in, and really finishes the performance so dramatically.
The Academy Award heading for Henrietta Onodi from Hungary. The judges' score is 9.912. She is our leader. Possible second world title. Now in progress over on the pommel horse is the routine of 21-year-old Pai Gil Soo from North Korea.
And this routine is one of the most difficult routines we'll see today. primarily because of the single pommel work that he does. Notice here he's on one pommel. He switches to the other pommel and goes around 4 times. That's high level of difficulty. Breaks to the scissors. Now watch this sequence. From the flares, he travels without using the pommels all the way down to the end. And then back up to the pommels and finishes through a handstand. Great routine.
North Korea won their first ever World Championship gold medal last year in Indianapolis. This could very well be another.
This is a great angle to see the kind of flexibility that it takes to perform the Thomas Flare with this kind of execution. Notice how wide his legs are split. His knee is coming up right in front of his nose.
As you might expect, the athletes in Spain are gearing up for the Olympics. Their Olympic sportsmen and women have made remarkable progress this year. Next up from Spain, Sonia Fraguas.
And they're coming around the mountain later on in this routine. This is very entertaining. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the most difficult tumbling passes.
Crowd clapping along. It looks like those painted on suspenders are appropriate for the number.
Watch the whip back right here, all the way through to double back. Perfect toe point.
And the crowd certainly getting into it. Final run.
And a tuck double back, dismount. Beautiful performance. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the difficulty in her tumbling passes.
Well, she certainly has entertained this crowd, that's for sure. Next up on the pommel horses, Vitaly Sherbo from the Commonwealth of Independent States. I should mention that Pai Gil-soo from North Korea scored a 9.85, and that is the score to beat.
The best part of Sherbo's routine comes right here at the beginning. He's going to do a flare, and watch this. He goes up to a handstand and then back down into flares. Difficult combination. Beautiful form, clean execution.
As he does the scissors, Sonia Fraguas' score on her routine, 9.812.
Strong finish with a pirouette on the handstand for Sherbo.
22-year-old Mark Sohn from the United States.
Mark has a very big trick right at the beginning of the routine. He's going to start on the end of the horse and reach all the way across to the other end. Few gymnasts do this. He will not touch the pommels as he goes all the way across. There it is. This young man has the most exciting routine, and I felt in the preliminary round he was actually underscored. Keep in mind, in a competition like this with specialists only, this is the only time he's had a chance to compete internationally. I don't think the judges have any idea who he is, but once they saw him, they were certainly impressed. Look at the work without the pommels in the flare position all the way to the end. There's the dismount. Great job.
The man who's won so many NCAA championships having an opportunity at a world championship gold medal.
Watch this move. He travels all the way across the horse, across both pommels, keeping great body line and extension. Yeah, he won the NCAAs 4 years in a row. He's only the second gymnast in NCAA history to be able to do that. He scored a perfect 10 7 times in his career on the pommel horse.
Well, he won't get one here. The judges' scores 9.725, puts him in third place. Now, while Tatiana Lysenko awaits her turn on the floor, Kathy Johnson reports on how the athletes develop their remarkable flexibility.
Some of the physical requirements of gymnastics which help differentiate good gymnasts and great gymnasts are strength, power, endurance, and flexibility. Gymnasts spend countless hours in these areas trying to make the most difficult routines look easy. Let's take flexibility. The judges look for a complete range of motion, from back flexibility to complete splits, to shoulder and upper back flexibility. And it's something the audience loves as much as the judges. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering how in the world the human body can do that. Well, I have a couple of gymnasts here to show you some of the exercises they do to help increase their flexibility. Watch this. So you can see gymnasts have to overstretch or go beyond their range of motion to achieve what you see in competition. Sometimes they even hold the positions as long as 5 minutes, which reminds me, it's time for the next position.
And in position for her turn on the floor is Tatiana Lysenko, who hails from the Ukraine. She was the gold medalist in the all-around at the 1990 World Cup and defeated her teammate Svetlana Boginskaya to earn that title.
Opens with a beautiful double layout, tiny stumble on the landing. Tatiana also does a very dramatic routine. This tumbling run coming up here is phenomenal. She starts with a double back. Right here, punch front, and tumbles back the other direction to a double twist, punch front. And does it so easily.
I'm very confident out there. She was gold medalist in the all-around at the 1990 World Cup when she defeated her teammate Boginskaya.
She had a lot of misfortune at the last World Championships. She was in contention for the all-around, and she slipped off the balance beam on her dismount, full twisting double back, and then went on in the event finals and broke fingers on the uneven bars. Very unfortunate, but now she is back on track.
Back with assurance.
I love this pass. She does it so well. Look at the spring in her legs. She does a double back here, then changes direction immediately. And with very little momentum here, does a double twist to another punch front somersault. Dismount was a full twisting double back. Plenty of difficulty in this routine, particularly finishing the routine with a more difficult pass. Lands a little bit forward. All of those will be slight deductions.
Lysenko's marks 9.887. That puts her into a tie for second place.
Li Jing has perhaps the most balanced routine that we'll see here. He shows single pommel work, and he shows flares. Look at the height and position and clean form, most importantly, as he travels all the way across the horse and up to the pommels.
The last two World Championships, Li Jing has earned a bronze medal in this event.
It's a very big finish. He travels down the length of the horse, back up into flares, and a full pirouette off. Strong routine. He feels pretty good about it.
Now keep in mind that Pai and Sherbo currently share the lead at 9.85, so that's the score to beat.
This is the transition from the Thomas flares up to the pommels, and then a move called an undercut right there, and he breaks into the single leg work. The single leg work, or scissors, is a requirement.
Judges' marks for that performance also a 9.85, so we now have a three-way tie for the lead. Over on the floor exercise, Oksana Chushovitina, who placed third in the vault, is preparing to take her turn.
She's the world champion in this event. She has some of the most difficult tumbling I've ever seen. Watch this first tumbling pass. It's a full twisting double back, but the full twist is on the second somersault. And it's laid out. Little stumble. Oh, no, too bad. It's a 1/10 of a point for going out of bounds. And she will perform the same tumbling pass on her second run, except in tucked position. Very few gymnasts can even do this pass. She does it for her second run. She changed it. Plain double back. Final tumbling run is a pike double back. Very nice routine. I'm surprised she changed her mind, though, and decided to only go with the tuck double back. Because the best part of her routine is the difficulty in her tumbling passes. But this first one is just simply amazing. Watch, she stays in the stretched position. Right here, full twist. The only problem, look here, she lands completely out of bounds, and unfortunately, that's a 1/10 of a point off. The dismount is a pike double back. She lands a tiny bit short, but only slightly. You see right there, she has to step forward.
Official marks 9.80, only good enough for 6th place, a clear disappointment for the defending world champion. When we return, the world all-around champion Kim Zmeskal will be going for her first gold medal in an individual apparatus. Championships in Indianapolis was the emergence of the sport's new superstar, American Kim Zmeskal. Here's Kathy Johnson with more.
When Mary Lou Retton won the Olympic all-around gold medal in 1984, thousands of little girls wanted to be just like her. One of them was this tumbler, 8-year-old Kim Zmeskal, who in 1984 was lucky enough to be living in Houston, where Mary Lou trained with Bella Caroli.
I still picture myself sort of as the little 8-year-old looking up to Mary Lou, and it doesn't seem like other people would do that to me, but maybe they do.
Of course they do. At the 1991 World Championships, she led the U.S. women to their best team finish ever, 2nd place. And with her thrilling performance in the floor exercise, Kim became the first American woman to capture the world all-around title. At only 15, Kim Zmeskal had suddenly been thrust into the spotlight. Back in Houston and a half a year later, Kim, now 16, tries to carry on a regular life, at least on Sundays, which she has off from the gym. With a younger sister and brother, Sundays are for family. And even world champions have to do homework, although this year school is by correspondence, which doesn't provide time for making friends.
I don't have a very big social life right now. And I'm not going to school. My training is number one, and if whatever else doesn't fit in with it, can't do it.
Kim is very close to her sister Melissa, as well as to fellow gymnast Betty Okino, who lives nearby. One might wonder if both girls ever feel as though they're missing out on their teen years.
It's not really that big of a sacrifice, because what I could get out of it and what I've already gotten out of doing gymnastics is totally worth it.
In this Olympic year, Kim is already out in front with a victory in last month's American Cup.
feel like a lot more people are watching, and you know, a lot more people are concerned about how I'm doing. It's a little extra pressure, but I usually do better under pressure anyway, so I guess that's to my advantage.
Still just your average teenager in so many ways, Kim Zmeskal can be very mature, and she knows what she wants.
I like competitions, and I like winning. I guess that's pretty much me.
Well, if Zmeskal likes to win, she's got her work cut out for her. Henrietta Onodi scored a 9.912 earlier. However, the floor exercise is one of Zmeskal's best events.
She placed first in the preliminaries and was a bronze medalist on this event at the World Championships. And it's a new routine. You can see immediately the difference in her tumbling. It's very fast, very quick. Coming up is the tumbling pass that everyone waits for. Count them 3 whip backs all the way through to a double back. 1, 2, 3. Very nicely done. She has been performing a full twisting double back since the World Championships. Let's see if she does it. She's going for it. Nice work. This is what event finals is all about. You go for everything, and she did.
A deafening roar of applause for perhaps one of the most emotional favorites on the floor.
John, there's something very important here. After the World Championships in the fall, a lot of people said she did not have the difficulty to be the world champion. Well, she has risen to the occasion right here, decided to challenge them and show them that they can do it, that she can do more difficult passes. This is what I'm most impressed with Kim about. She typically finished her routine with a double back, but instead she has pushed her potential. And this is work for her, but she makes it.
A very poised and confident performance. The official marks are in. 9.937. That's good enough for a gold medal for Kim Zmeskal. And one of the first to congratulate her, the runner-up, Henrietta Onodi from Hungary. A very warm and sincere congratulations. So we take a look at the official results. Kim Zmeskal wins it, proving that the Indianapolis victory was no fluke. It's the first time an American woman has won a gold on individual apparatus in 14 years. The silver goes to Henrietta Onodi, who adds that to the gold she won in the vault earlier. In the men's pommel horse competition, it's a 3-way tie for gold. Pai, Li Jing, and Sherbo share the honors. Mark Sohn finished 7th. Kathy Johnson is with Kim Zmeskal.
Kim, I know nothing can compare to winning the all-around title last fall in Indianapolis, but do you think, does this send a message to the rest of the world that you can win outside the United States?
Yes, because a lot of people were criticizing me that I only won it because I was in the U.S. and that my tumbling was not strong enough to get a bronze on the floor, and I upgraded my tumbling and I won a gold here, so I'm real happy.
Certainly has to make you feel good. What does this do for the Olympics coming up so close in Barcelona?
Well, they're very close, so the judges, you know, are still going to remember what happened here, and so will everybody else, and it gives me a lot of confidence going to the next couple months.
Well, good luck with your training and in Barcelona.
Happy Easter.
We'll be watching arguably the finest male gymnast in the world, Grigory Mishutin, who is the all-around champion as well as the rings champion at the last World Championships. He's approaching the mat.
Mishutin was a surprise winner of the World Championships back in Indianapolis last fall. This is one of his best events. Now, he's an all-around performer, and he's here in these specialist World Championships, particularly because he's so terrific right here on the still rings. This is a great move, a plunge, and then watch, he presses it on up to a handstand. The judges require the gymnast to do a press to a handstand as well as a swing to a handstand. Very impressive opening strength sequence. Double front within the rings, up to a handstand. There's the dismount. Great start.
Now the judges would be in a quandary because he is the first contender for the gold to perform. How high can they score him?
And typically they tend to score tight on the first couple of routines to hold some room for some better performances, but I don't know how we're going to see much better than that. Look at the body position in the planche, completely straight, and then he presses it on up to a handstand. From there, he lowers to what is called a Maltese cross, which is a combination of a plunge and an iron cross. And of course, there's an iron cross. There's a lot of strength in that routine. The dismount is the laid out double flip, the full twist in the second flip. And I don't know what it is about the Commonwealth athletes, but they stick everything. They rarely make a mistake on landings, and that's why they get the big scores.
Big scores indeed, a 9.837 for Grigory Mishutin. He moves into the lead. One of the necessary ingredients of a good gymnast is strength. Bart shows us how they train.
People ask me all the time, how do gymnasts get so strong? Do they lift weights? Well, actually, there are a few gymnasts who do lift weights, but for most gymnasts, the only weight they lift is their own body weight. Now, let me show you what I mean. Typically, a weightlifter does something like an overhead press. I'm 140 pounds. I don't need a barbell. I can do them like this. Just turn upside down. 140-pound presses, right? Okay. Every fitness buff or weightlifter has to do some kind of conditioning for their stomach. They might do regular sit-ups, crunches, something like that. For a gymnast, they look like this. Okay? Now everybody has to do some kind of bicep exercises. Maybe they do it with dumbbells or with a barbell, either position. For a gymnast, you can do them like this. Chin up, or maybe for the rings, a variation like this. All right? And everybody has to do some kind of strength exercises. A weightlifter might use a barbell, do squat jumps like this, or squat presses. For a gymnast, all you have to do is squat and backflip. Now, strength is deceptive. I'm only 5'6" and 140 pounds. That's the average size for a male gymnast. But pound for pound, gymnasts are among the strongest athletes in the world.
And our next competitor would certainly qualify. Li Jing from China is 5'5", 130 pounds, defending champion on the parallel bars. We saw him win the gold on the pommel horse earlier. This is his attempt to win his first gold on the rings.
Li Jing is perhaps one of the best-looking stylists of all the gymnasts in the competition. He has plenty of difficulty, but what's most important is the look of his body line and the rhythm of his routines. Let's watch for that. Back roll to iron cross. Kip to an L cross. Pull out to an L. Once again, most of the gymnasts are using their strength moves early when they're fresh. Look at the body line and the extension in the handstand. Inverted iron cross. Beautiful handstand positions. He's not rushing. There's a dismount.
Very close.
You know, in theory, they don't deduct if your feet don't move. But I'm sure you'll get a couple of tenths off for the acrobatic arm movements there. Boy, beautiful position in the air. He's a little over. You can't blame him for trying.
Li Jing's official marks, 9.737, puts him in second place behind Miss Uten. Welcome back. Our next athlete on the rings is American Paul O'Neill, a 26-year-old from Denver, father of 3. He's won this event 3 times at NC2A championship competition, but this is his first opportunity at a major international event. He's got power to spare, but it wasn't always that way.
I was a real skinny kid, and I had 2 older brothers who were real muscular. So they would always, and my dad was a welder, so and they got into gymnastics like in high school. So he welded up a ring rig for us in the backyard. And since I was the weakling of the bunch, they would always kick me in the butt and make me get up there. And I don't know how much it's genetic. I worked really hard for it. But there has to be some genetics involved, but I don't think you get real strong without having it. So I don't know. It was a lot of both. A lot of work, though.
This is a very big moment for U.S. gymnastics because Paul, in the preliminary rounds, was 3rd place both sessions, and he really legitimately has a chance to win the first medal in, well, I guess it's 13 years for the Americans in the World Championship competition. He has plenty of strength moves in this routine and a spectacular double back within the rings in the laid out position. He's the only one who does it.
Being a rings specialist, judges haven't seen much of him internationally. This format will allow him to shine.
Here comes the move. Double back laid out, and he hangs on to the rings and goes all the way around to an L cross. Talk about power to spare. Press to a handstand. The rings are swinging just a little bit. Very clean front giant. It's down to the landing. Okay.
And he punctuates that routine with a fist in the air.
What's great about this routine is not only is there a tremendous amount of strength, but this move here called a gutsogi, invented by a Hungarian gymnast. But he never did it like that. Paul does it laid out and finishes in an L cross. The dismount is the same that most of the gymnasts are using. Laid out, double flip with a full twist. Great job on the landing. I'm anxious to see this score.
And his performance doubly impressive since he underwent reconstructive surgery after tearing the bicep tendon attachment at the elbow in November of 1990. Was unable to train for about 8 months. They've certainly shown those judges something strong at these World Championships. 9.762 moves him into second place right now. An opportunity for the first American medal in World Championship competition in 13 years. Vitaly Sherbo, who did so well on the pommel horses, back again at the rings.
Sherbo was the first gymnast in the world to cross the rings and change direction. He'll do that early in his routine. It's a really unusual combination. Since he did it a couple of years ago, there are several gymnasts in the world that are attempting to do this. Very smooth. Notice how he doesn't rush. He presses and squeezes every position. Beautiful planche. Okay, here's the twist. Back through the rings, and then he finishes in handstand. Incredible that he squares his body line up and finishes right in a clean handstand. Dismount. Wow.
The performance is getting better with each athlete.
It's so difficult to get originality points on rings because there's a standard formula to every routine, but when he came up with this new idea to completely change directions, you never see anyone turn around in the rings, cross the straps, he goes back through them while they're still crossed, and then unwinds and finishes in a handstand. What's amazing to me is that he's completely square in the handstand at the finish of that. You'd think you'd be twisting all over the place. Once again, no one does landings better than the Soviets or the Commonwealth athletes now. Boom.
The official marks for Sherbo, 9.90, and that catapults him into the lead. We'll be back with more from the rings in just a moment. Welcome back to Paris. Our next athlete taking his position on the rings is Sylvester Cholanya from Hungary, out of Budapest, a 22-year-old.
Cholanya has an unusual combination in his routine. It was invented by a Chinese gymnast named Li Jing. What a mount. From an L cross, he pressed to an inverted iron cross. Here's this move. It's called a Li Ning. And he finishes in a Maltese cross bounce to another iron cross. This is the best ring finals I've ever seen. The most strength, the most unusual combinations, and the best dismounts all in one competition. See if he can stick the landing. Oh. What a final.
Smile on his face for good reason. This is probably one of those events that really benefits from the specialist influence.
There's no question, and this routine, as you can see, had plenty of strength and difficulty. This is the originality section, invented by Li Ning from China, and then he finishes just freezing it in a Maltese cross. Look at the straight body. The dismount is the same as many of the gymnasts have used, and an excellent landing. Unfortunately, I think for Paul O'Neill, that probably will bounce him out of the bronze medal right at this point.
Now our leader is Sherbo at 9.90, but anything better than a 9.762 will knock Paul O'Neill out of the medals.
Oh my God, his fate is right here.
Nope.
Paul's bounced to fourth.
And Bart, the scores indicate you're right. Sylvester Cholanya moves to second place, dropping Paul O'Neill from the United States down to fourth. A silver medal from the man that wasn't expected to perform that great a routine. He goes by almost the entire field. Vitaly Sherbo is the only one who remains unbeaten here with the gold in the rings.
It's the weekend, and the Honda.
The Americans certainly have a reason to be proud of the performances they saw.
John, Kim Zmeskal really proved herself here. Both she and Henrietta Onodi certainly provided the highlights of the competition. Not only did they capture all the medals, but they captured the heart and the imagination of this audience, which is so much a part of gymnastics. Makes it really exciting looking ahead to Barcelona.
It certainly does. And Bart, you'd have to ask you now, is this new format, the individual events only format, in the benefit of the spectator?
Well, it really does make for an exciting competition. Although I was a little disappointed for the American men, they came within a tenth of a point of actually winning a medal here for the first time in 13 years. But you're right, the spectator wins because we've seen the highest level of difficulty in any world championship competition, and that's great for us.
And of course, that excitement will continue when we bring you the second half of these world championships. That's Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, so be sure to watch us next week. For now, and my partners Kathy and Bart, I'm John Neighbor saying so long from Gay Paris.
Coming up next, the World League kicks off with regional coverage.